Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Dharyll from Bad State U. So for today's video, we're going to tackle about the Chapter 9 Transport Layer in the NetAcad. So without further ado, let's get started. So basically in this chapter, we're just gonna be dealing with the transport layer and the transport layer protocols. So next thing that we're going to discuss is the transport layer. So in the OSI model, the transport layer is often referred to as layer 4 or the L4, while the numbered layers are not used in the TCP/IP. So the best known transport protocol of TCP/IP is the Transmission Control Protocol (TCP) or the TCP. So it lent its name to the title of the entire suite. So, transport layers deals with a logical communication between processes. So it is responsible for the delivering of message between network hosts. So it is also the one that accept from application layer and prepare it for the addressing at network layer. So that is basically all about the transport layer. So next thing that we're going to discuss is the role of the transport layer. So the transport layer is the layer in the open system interconnection in the OSI model. So it is responsible for the end-to-end communication over a network, and it provides a logical communication between an application process running on the different hosts within the layered architecture of protocols and other network components. So the transport layer is also responsible for the establishing and temporary communication session between two applications and delivering data between them. So an application generates then the data that is sent from the application on source host to an application on a destination host. So this is without regard to the destination host type, the type of the media over with the uh, which the data must travel. So dapat taken by the data, the congestion on the link or the size of the network layer. So both this transport layer responsibility and roles of the transport layer is they are the same. Um, so next is the tracking individual conversation. So here is what is happening here is that a host may have multiple applications that are communicating across the network simultaneously. So each of these applications communicates with one or more applications on one or more remote hosts. So it is the responsibility of the transport layer to maintain and track these multiple conversations. Next thing that is responsibility of transport layer is the segmenting data and resembling segments. So here in the segmenting data and resembling segment data, so the data must be prepared to be sent across the media in manageable pieces. So most networks have limitations on the amount of data that can be included in the single packet. So transport layer protocols also have the services that segment the application data into blocks that are an appropriate size. And then the next responsibility is the identifying the application. So in identifying the application to pass the data streams to the proper application, the transport layer must identify the target application. So to accomplish this, the transport layers assign each application an identifier called a the identifier called is the port number. And then each software process that needs to access the network is assigned a, a port number unique to the host to that host. So that is in identifying the application. So in order to pass the data streams to proper application. So next thing that we're going to discuss is the transport layer protocols. So here we have two, which is the TCP protocol and the UDP. So later on we're going to discuss that. So first that we're going to discuss is the transport layer protocols. The transport layer is represented by the two protocols, which is the TCP and the UDP. So the IP protocol in the network layer delivers a datagram from a source host to the destination host. When a host sends a message to the other host, that means that the source process is sending a process to the destination process. So first is the TCP. So the TCP or the transmission control protocol is connection oriented protocol. So that means a connection oriented protocol is the one that negotiates and establishes a permanent connection, or what you call session, between the source and the destination devices prior to forwarding any traffic. So transmission and or the TCP protocol is connection or oriented communication protocol, just like I said ago. That so it is also the one that facilitates the exchange of messages between the computing devices in the network. So it is the most common protocol in network that use the internet protocol or the IP together. They are sometimes referred to as the TCP/IP. In TCP/IP is the underlying communication language of the internet. So in base terms, TCP/IP allows one computer to talk to one another computer via internet through compiling the compiling the packets of the data and sending them to right location. And also the TCP is important because the whole internet runs over it. So that means that this is the protocols using the which two different networks element communicate with each other. So without the TCP, the data communication and the internet or the internet working of the devices is not possible. So that is how important the TCP or the transmission control protocol. So the next thing that we're going to discuss is the UDP. So in the UDP or the user datagram protocol is considered as a best effort transport protocol. So UDP is a lightweight transport protocol that offers the same data segmentation and reassembly as the TCP. So, but without the TCP reliability and the flow control, UDP is such a simple protocol that is usually described in terms of uh, what it does not to compare to TCP. So the UDP or is alternative communication protocol to transmission control protocol or the TCP used primarily for establishing a low latency and loss tolerating connection between application and the internet. One more information about the UDP is that the UDP is faster than TCP, and the simple reason is because it's a non-existent acknowledged packet or the ACK that so the ACK is the one that's permit the continuous packet stream. So instead of the TCP that acknowledge a set of packets calculated by using the TCP window size and round trip time or the RTT. So the main difference between TCP and the UDP is that the TCP or the transmission control protocol is connection oriented, and whereas the UDP or the user datagram protocol is connectionless. So this means that the TCP tracks all the data set requiring acknowledgement for each octet generally. So if you are questioning which is more reliable between the two protocols, so the TCP is more reliable than the TCPs, since the TCP is requiring an acknowledgement for each octet. So when the TCP is requiring acknowledgement, so you will be there is an assurance that the data or the information will be transmitted to the destination from the host, while the UDP is faster, but it will just going to send packets even though uh, it is not going to the destination. So obviously the TCP is more reliable than the UDP. So next is I'm going to add some information here. So also in the transport layers, it provides the transport related services by the dividing data received from the application into segment, and it also provides transport related services such as adding a header to identify and manage segment. So it also provides services such as it is using the header information to reassemble the segment back into application data. It is also provide the transport related service by passing the assembled data to correct application. So take note that it is important to remember that uh, that the other layers all all apart in the data network communication are and influences its performance. So that's it for today's video. So we talk about the transport layer and the role and the responsibility of the transport layer. We also tackle about the transport layer protocols, which is the TCP and the UDP. So the TCP is more reliable than the UDP. Take note of that. So in the other information, it's important to remember that uh, the other layers all play a part in the data network. So and influences its performance. So that's it for today's video. And if you learned something and if you like this video and it helped you in your CCNA studies, please support my channel by liking and subscribe to my channel. And thank you for watching. Bye bye.